Hello, Joe Weaver here. This message relates to everyone, but specifically is directed to my fellow members of the Violet Tribe. As many of you know, the Violet Tribe is on the front line of change here on Earth. Through our changes that we're making within ourselves, is creating a wave of change here on Earth. Recently, John Armitage pointed out the lack of sharing and unity taking place. So for the last several weeks, I have been looking deeper into this within myself and into the collective. And there's two different parts of what I mainly see. That is, you could say, the roadblocks or the things that are really holding us back from moving forward. The first part I'll get into relates to sharing. And, a lot of people would be saying, like, what does this sharing mean? Like, what kind of sharing are you talking about? The sharing that I am referring to has to do with sharing your resources, sharing our resources with one another through change. It doesn't mean that you have to give up all of your assets or the things that you own. It's just a matter of sharing resources with one another. And it doesn't matter if it's a donation to a certain project or a certain thing or someone on the street or someone in need of something that would really assist them in their own life. And a lot of people, when they're talking about sharing, they feel indebted in a way. They may feel indebted. They may feel like they have to do it. Like, I have to share this money because this person's asking for it. I need to donate this money because of this project that this person is specifically talking about, and so on. But the main point that I found through looking deeper into the lack of sharing, there's a percentage of the people that give money for, you could say, tax purposes, just to get a deduction off their taxes. They could do it again, as I mentioned, because somebody's telling them to do it. But the biggest thing that I really was very clear, that is really that would assist with the expansion of sharing on Earth, if more people actually moved into the space of, instead of having to share money. And again, I want to point out this, it does not matter about the amount of money being shared. It doesn't matter that you have to meet the same amount of money that everyone else is sharing. The amount does not matter. what is very clear that matters is the love behind the sharing that is taking place. So even if the amount being shared is a very small amount, the most important part is the love behind the sharing. In a way, you're moving into a space of loving to share. And if you're not at that space of loving to share, then I invite you to experiment with that. See within yourself what is holding you back from the love of sharing. What does that mean? Not necessarily as a mental concept or a mental projection that I am, I love this as a mental thing, but actually feel it. Feel it on an emotional level. Feel it physically that I love, grow and move into the space of loving to share. What that does is the more of us, specifically, and again, this message, relates to my fellow members of the Violet Tribe. Our influence and energetic changes influence the collective to a greater degree as we make our changes. So in order for us to truly build this wave of change into the new paradigm, into the new earth, truly bring it into manifestation, we have to move into these ways of loving and giving and sharing and so on. And again, it's very clear to me now what it's going to take in order for us to truly create what we've been, say, yearning to happen or wanting to happen for a long period of time. So, moving into the second part of this. The second part is about peace and unity. In the same way about the love behind sharing and building the wave and allowing that the energy of the sharing and abundance to flow. In the same way, we have to move into a space of loving peace and unity, which we are not there yet, but we are moving in the direction of that. That is what the essence of the new earth and the new paradigm is. We, as individuals, as I mentioned at the beginning, through our individual changes, we're assisting the actual change of how people live on earth, how we live as not only individuals, but as a collective together. So it's not that we totally turn our blind eye to the chaos and craziness in this world, that you shield yourself from it, but you love it. We love every single thing that's going on in this world into wholeness. It's not going to happen by separating ourselves from what is existing, what is currently taking place. In the same standpoint, we can't continue to live in denial of our own actions and how our actions are are they contributing to, and is our actions and our energy contributing to the wave of change, of love on the planet? Or our actions are basically not. It's that simple. I'm going to give you an example that I've recently witnessed. To say, you're working with someone and this person does something that you did not like, or what the person did offends you in some way. Anytime we're in a situation like this, we have choices of how we're going to handle the situation. If you hold on to resentment about the other person, what the other person did, you're not willing to forgive them, you're not willing to work with them, are you really loving peace and unity in that space? Really ask yourselves that. Is that an example of peace and unity? Is that an example of loving peace and unity to the point where you're willing to work with others even though they might not align with the exact way that you like to do things? That's just a very simple example. And I ask you all that if you truly want to assist the new earth and the new paradigm truly manifesting here on earth, that you check yourself. Truly look at how you are acting. What are the choices you are making in your daily lives that are adding to the wave of change, or you're simply just not even adding to it? There are many people around the world, they call themselves light workers, healers, like, all kinds of different descriptions and so on, and labels. The labels don't matter. What really matters is what energy are we emitting from our embodiments on a daily basis? Are the actions and energy that we are emitting into this landscape assisting with the energetic frequency changes into peace, love, unity, and sharing? Or are our actions still tied into the patterns of the old paradigm? Again, this is a choice that each one of us have every single day that we're still within physical form. To be in service through our personal changes and through our physical embodiments, or not. That's very, very clear. The time of wanting something to come into manifestation, looking into the future for something to happen, it's not going to happen. unless we step up. Again, I'm mainly talking to my fellow members of the Violet Tribe. Through us, again, our changes are assisting with the transformation. The energetics vibrate out through the web of the energetics on Earth from around the world. So that's the main parts of this message. Check yourself. Don't just point fingers. Love the reason, point fingers, the reason why something is not happening or whatever. Be the change yourself. Be it. Be it, and then we will see it. Love. Begin to love sharing in a way that you have never loved to share before. Feel it. Love peace and unity like you have never loved peace and unity before, or you have ever experienced before in this physical life. Love it. Have the willingness to work with other people. Don't just shut them out and say, I can't work with you anymore. Again, every single person and every single thing within this landscape of what we call this earth is other fragmented pieces of our own self. Love these other fragmented pieces. There's going to be all kinds of different situations, of course. But have the willingness to work with one another. Again, that represents peace and unity. That in itself is representing the actual willingness to unite, the willingness to be one with one another, is through our willingness to work with one another. We are all different in our own ways. Not everyone is going to do things the same way that we do it or we like to do it. We have to be willing to let go of our old ways, the old ways of doing things, and move into the new. Love. Love like you have never loved before, my friends. The time is now for us to truly be